So I don't know how many of you are familiar with Dogen. Dogen is considered the founder of Soto Zen in Japan. Now, I think if he was here right now, he would have a lot to say about what I just said. Names and forms are just, at the best, a piece of paper, like a map that points to something. In itself, it's nothing. It's not the true Dharma. It's not the true Dharma I. It's like a cup of tea. If you don't drink it, you don't taste the tea. You can describe it all day long. You can visit with it. You can sit with it. But until you drink it, you don't know what the tea is. So names and forms can be very distracting. Traditions, religions, political organizations, etc., etc. We really like to belong. There's a big difference between groupthink and one mind. Groupthink has nothing to do with one mind. So when you belong, it's because you really have an external need to belong to something. But coming home is recognizing the true Dharma in your own mind. So my home, for as far as Zen is concerned, and again, Zen is just a term. True Dharma is not definable. Was through a Korean Zen master. And that was my mind to mind transmission experience where I recognized I was home. Now, Dogen, I have an incredible amount of respect for, and I really appreciate him on so many levels. He's like lightning. He's like cherry blossom falling. He's like clear mountain stream. And there are other writings of his that I just am not interested in. But there's something tonight that I would like to read to you from his writing, Shobo Genzo. He's very famous in Japan. He's so well read, and he's very, I don't know. I won't try to describe him. I will just read a little bit to you here. There it is. The Mountains and Waters Sutra. Mountains and waters right now actualize the ancient Buddha expression, each abiding in its own condition, unfolds in its full potential. Because mountains and waters have been active since before the empty eon, they are alive at this moment because they have been the self since before form arose. They are emancipation actualized. Because mountains are high and broad, their way of riding the clouds always extends from the mountains. Their wondrous power of soaring in the wind comes freely from the mountains. Priest Daka of Mount Farong said to the assembly, "The green mountains are always walking. Stone woman gives birth to a child at night. Mountains do not lack the characteristics of mountains. Therefore, they always abide in ease and always walk. Examine in detail the characteristic of the mountains walking. Mountains walking is just like human walking. Accordingly, do not doubt mountains walking, even though it does not look the same as human walking. The Buddha ancestors' words point to walking. This is fundamental understanding. Penetrate these words. Because green mountains walk, they are permanent. Although they walk more swiftly than the wind, someone in the mountains does not notice or understand it. In the mountains means the blossoming of the entire world. People outside the mountains do not notice or understand the mountains walking. Those without eyes to see mountains cannot notice, understand, see, or hear this reality. If you doubt mountains walking, you do not know your own walking. It is not that you do not walk, but that you do not know or understand your own walking. Since you do not know your own walking, you should fully know the green mountains walking. Green mountains are neither sentient nor insentient. You are neither sentient nor insentient. At this moment, you cannot doubt the green mountains walking. So what does this mean? Green mountains walking. What I think Dogen was describing is one mind, original nature, not groupthink, not we think like this, we create like this, we organize like this, but just this. It's different. You can intellectualize all day long. You won't see beyond the piece of paper. So having a map is not the same as green mountains walking. I use maps all the time. I love them. So I try to just point to something that's can't be described. I'm not out to create anything or become anything other than your good friend. And hopefully I don't mislead you and I just present what is already there and is already within your grasp. Because originally, that's you and I are no different. And all this longing that we have to belong and to be part of, that we externalize and create these false narratives and false ideas of belonging and creating the duality of positive and negative, right and wrong, them and me, us and them. This is right, that is wrong. It's not that there isn't right and wrong. It is what it is. But just be careful. Because when we externalize our need to feel like we belong or that we're part of or that we're whole, we've made a mistake. Because already we are whole. Already we belong. Already we see, we hear. Before there's this I. So however you want to identify the I, whether it's some culture, some family, some religion, some group, that's the false ego. It's okay. It's just a map. Use it. We all have to work within this realm of duality. That's our playground. That's where we work. That's where we do things. Okay. We talk about non-attachment. Well, what does that mean? Non-attachment to what? It's not out there. It's right here. And it's beautiful. Being non attached does not mean not being involved. Green Mountains walking, eons, beyond space time. Wow, it's all I have. Was any of you have any of you read any of Dogen before? Yeah,
I think you've read something of his before in here.
it's been a while, maybe a year ago.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it sounds familiar. You mentioned when you mentioned the history, and I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
I've read this.
yeah. He's quoted a lot.
This would say, I hear people quote him a lot, but usually when they quote him, I find it a little hard to grasp, so I've never been drawn to actually reading in more
Mhm.
detail.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've picked him up and put him down, picked him up and put him down because pick them up and go, oh, this is way beyond me, and I put him down. And this particular little section that he actually attributes Mountain walking to someone else, you know, but the way he talks about it, uh, for me, essentially, he's has a very poetic way of expressing the essential principles. I can't even put it into one phrase. Um, you know, everything is always changing. Nothing ever remains the same. Everything is empty of permanence. But those are all the way when you use those kinds of terms, it doesn't really paint a picture that reaches deep into your being. But Dogen has a way of reaching deep into your being with the same concept, these concepts, but taking it beyond the concepts because of the way he describes it and the way he talks about it. And it's really, you know, it's really interesting for me that Dogen is really not about uh, koan practice, but so much of his writing is really like a koan. So it's like, it's funny, these divisions we have in Zen between koan practice and Soto. I mean, Rinzai, Soto, whatever, these names. When it comes right down to it, he's very much about opening you up from your conceptualization of things and just, whew, breathe the fresh air, see the cloud on the mountain. It's, it's different. It's more direct than just a map, like I was trying to describe. He's way beyond map. He's like, you know, getting right in there. And sometimes it doesn't matter if you don't understand. Some of it's just beautiful to read, whether you understand it or not. It doesn't matter because, it's on a whole other level. So, yeah.
I love mountains, so I'm emotionally drawn to try to understand what a walking mountain is.
Mhm.
Because I think of mountains as so solid and stationary that it's going to be interesting to see how I think about that as I think about.
Yeah.
Also, like I love mountains too. I mean, and you know, I think first as far as the words he uses, I'm also drawn to this kind of this style. It's very illustrative, poetic, a bit ascetic
Mhm.
in a way. It's like Rumi versus Emerson,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, it's, if you were to divide writers, there would be the ones who show you and the ones who tell you. And
Very good.
This would be the one who shows you. But like, one of the things I love about movies is the little moments that happen when, you know, I don't really notice that I'm on a mountain, or that, the mountain is under me, or something like that. There's the moments when like you feel as though you're one of the elements that make it up,
Yes.
or not making it up, but you're just like in the same soup. It's just and the interesting thing about the Green Mountain, and both the mountain not being sentient or insentient, and us being neither sentient nor insentient, leads me to believe that he's pointing at, so what's the Green Mountain and what's you in that instance?
Yes.
That was the line that I liked too. It was like, okay, pretty, pretty, and then as soon as you said that, I was like, ding.
Yeah. A lot of his writing is like that. It's that ding. At some point you go, oh,
It was that line. It's like,
uh-huh. Yeah, it's like, I talk about our original nature all the time, our Buddha nature, but he just showed it to us and through his writing. Amazing, amazing stuff. Yeah. Well, that was good. Thanks for sharing. Have a good evening, everybody.